From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. British Columbia Premier David Eby says his province will not run a series of anti-tariff advertisements for the American public on its own. Eby says the shift in strategy is to make sure communications with the Americans are aligned with federal officials as they discuss U.S. softwood lumber tariffs.
That is a recognition on our part of the efforts that were made today around the table for us to work together as a team, integrated provincial and federal government, with our table, focusing on the future of the industry, how we reduce our dependence on the United States.
The Americans have imposed duties on Canadian companies up to more than 47%, then added another 10% last month, claiming Canada's industry is a U.S. national security threat. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says Prime Minister Mark Carney called him several times from Asia, asking him to pull Ontario's recent anti-tariff TV ad. Carney said this weekend he told Ford he should not air the ad, but Ford says he has a different recollection.
I'm not going to get into he said, back and forth. I don't think the people of Canada want that. I know one thing, we're united on getting a deal.
U.S. President Donald Trump blamed Ontario's ads as he cut off trade talks late last week. Industry Minister Melanie Joly says Stellantis' plan to move vehicle production from Brampton, Ontario to the U.S. would be a violation of a contract. She says government funding agreements tie federal support to manufacturing in both Brampton and Windsor, Ontario. The government is launching a dispute resolution process against Stellantis. Prime Minister Mark Carney's first budget is set to be tabled tomorrow in Ottawa. As Canadian Press reporter Craig Lord explains, this budget will look different than ones in the past.
Carney has billed this budget as a plan to spend less but invest more. Now, what does that mean? He's going to divide the presentation of this budget between a capital stream, money that goes toward building homes, infrastructure, major projects, stuff like that, and an operating stream. The rest of the money that goes towards government services, salaries, transfers to Canadians and provinces.
It's unknown how large the deficit is. Late last year, the federal Liberals said it would likely be in the range of $42 billion. Sesame Street has a new home.
The new season of Sesame Street debuts next week. And while the theme song will be the same, the format might be a little different thanks to a new partner, Netflix. The main story at the top of the show will be 11 minutes long instead of 9, better to connect with kids, the creators say. The show could also break the fourth wall and talk straight to children, with characters telling their feelings or asking for advice. Because Netflix has such a global audience, the new season will be streamed in 30 different languages. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, goaltender Calvin Pickard starts in goal tonight as the Edmonton Oilers face St. Louis in the first of back-to-back road games. Also tonight on the NHL schedule, Toronto hosts Pittsburgh, Vancouver visits Nashville. Penguin superstar Sidney Crosby is among those lamenting the Toronto Blue Jays' loss in Game 7 of the World Series. Crosby says he was pulling for the Jays to hang on against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Saturday night's game was one of the wildest Game 7s in World Series history, as ABC's Melissa Dan reports it was also one of the most watched.
MLB says that they broke records from the 2017 World Series of nearly 26 million viewers. So talk about baseball. The love of baseball was also an international thing because we had, of course, the U.S. viewers, the Canadian viewers supporting the Blue Jays, who really played phenomenally.
Final ratings numbers are expected to be released tomorrow. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.